Hello, everybody. Hi, how are you? I got people already in the chat. Good. This is Shirley with Shirley's Threadwork, and this is Shirley's Wind Down Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it. Want to give a shout out to everybody that's watching in YouTube and Facebook land, as well as those people that will be watching the replay. Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Join in if you're out there and participate. We want people to participate, to chat, to ask questions, make comments, all of that. So today, as you could probably tell, I'm garbed out because this is the last week of February, which February is Black History Month. Last week I had on the other half of this shirt that I put together, and this one has Black 365. The other one that I had on last week said I am Black History. So that is my contribution for Black History Month, and I do intend to put some things on my sleeve. I just didn't get around to it, but my plan is to have it done so I can wear this to work on Friday. Anyway, welcome everybody. Who do I have in the chat? I have Kingsbury Craft and Jenny and Robin, and who else do I have? I think that's it right now. And Robin, Jenny, you say you love the sweatshirt, earrings, and hair headband. Looks awesome. Thank you so much. Coincidentally, they do kind of match up. You know, it's the kente cloth design and everything. And so it worked out well. I'm glad it does. And let me see any other comment. That is the comment so far. So tonight we're going to do a little continuation of what part of the conversation was um, last week, and I have to tell you, I was scrolling Facebook, YouTube, all of that, and I know how algorithms work. Once you click on a particular topic, subject, or interest, or anything, then it floods your feed. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of them just flood your feed with what you were initially looking at. And because of that, my feed has been flooded with all of these newer, less expensive embroidery machines. So as I had mentioned last week, my interest was piqued because of the prices. Not that I'm going to get anything. So I don't want anybody to think, okay, she's going to get a new machine. Nope, that's not happening right now. But it is interesting to know that these things have popped up. So I decided to do some deep dive research and just share some information about what's going on in the industry with these newer, less expensive machines, because I have to be honest about it. Quite a few of the people that I have traditionally watched over the years that have had other machines seem to be turning to some of these newer machines. And I'm pretty certain part of the reason is the price. And I mean, if people want to expand their business or get into the business or go from a flat needle machine to a multi needle machine or add to their flat needle machine, flatbed rather, single needle flatbed embroidery machines, it seems to make sense that they would reach out to something that is less expensive, especially if they believe that they are equivalent to some of the more expensive machines. Now, I have all brother machines and well, actually, I have two brother embroidery machines, a baby lock serger, and a baby lock sewing machine, and a Janome sewing machine. So that's my arsenal of sewing products and what have you. And I also have a brother scan and cut. So I'm kind of in a Cricut Maker 3, I believe it is. So lots of machines. I got heat press. I don't know what the brand is because I didn't buy it. It was a gift. but I have that. So yeah, I have a whole bunch of products and equipment and all of those kinds of things, and they get to be very expensive. So I'm pretty sure lots of people are very much like me if you're in the crafting uh, mode, whether you do it as a business or you do it as a hobby or something in between, like me. Um, the arsenals grow as well as the expenses. So with that being said, naturally you will begin to seek out options and opportunities as you're adding to your arsenal, whether or not you can save some money. So that's kind of where we are. So hi Carol, how are you? And Sharon Davenport, how are you? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. So I am going to talk about that. So tonight, we're going to have some real embroidery industry talk, and we're going to talk about unpacking the budget multi-needle boom and some of the things that they don't tell you. So I'm not going to be talking any hype. I'm not talking brand loyalty. I'm just going to give you the truth based upon what I have found. And I will be talking mostly about three different machines or one of the upfront budget machines, one being the buy mirror. It is also a buy Vision, I believe it is, but more people that I've run across have the buy mirror, the smart stitch, and the pulling, which I found out last week that Pullen also has a multi-needle machine. Now I did do a deep dive and I looked into what each company was saying about their product, and I will go over that because I want to be fair and upfront. And like I said, no loyalty, no bias, none of that. What I have to say will be based upon everything that I have read or heard via um, YouTube or read on the internet, and all of it has come. The specs and all of that information has come directly from the companies that make these machines. I want to put this out front. Nothing has to do anything with my personal opinion about any of them because I don't own any of these machines. I've not used any of these machines, so I can't give you any kind of personal information about any of them. So I want to make that clear as well. And the information that I'm providing is for educational purposes. And when I say educational, it's like, it's good to know what's going on out there. Whatever decisions anybody make based upon something I've said, please believe that none of this is biased. I don't want to be accused of picking and choosing anything because the only embroidery machines that I have any personal experience with are brothers. That's all I can speak on as far as personal experience. Other than that, everything is secondhand. So back to what I was saying. You've been seeing machines like the Buy, the Smart Stitch, and the Puller. And I don't know if you're wondering if these machines are legit, if they are worth the money, and what is the catch that you could actually get these machines for the prices that they're selling them for. Now, part of my background research has identified all of these machines as being Chinese made machines. And that is not to put a damper or any kind of stigma on that. They are what they are. They are Chinese made machines. However, several of them do have warehouses in the US and they have locations and I will mention that as we go forward. Part of my research, I found out where some of the warehouses are located for some of these machines. So what that means is that there are people located in the US that you can actually purchase the machine from and talk to them and whatever else that you may need. Um, so these machines seem like they're just cropping up overnight to me, but they've been around for a while, especially in other countries. And they have been around quite a while in the US, but just in different segments of the US. One, for instance, is in California. Based upon the research that I've gathered, there's a lot of people that use the buy mirror that are located in the state of California. And California does have a warehouse there. So that would make sense that that would be the case. So that's where they are. Um, a lot of these machines are a lot of machines have been used as home machines. Now, as we probably know, if you've been into the embroidery arena for a while, that the major commercial machines that you will find in commercial shops are the Tajima and the Barudin, the Barudan, Barudin and Tajima. Those are very popular machines that you will find in embroidery shops. If you go into the mall and go into one of those cap stores like Lid, you will see right there in front of you, usually close to the register, a Tajima machine. I've seen it. I've even inquired about it and asked questions about it out of one curiosity and out of the other one just being nosy to see what information I could gather as far as what I'm doing and what I'm charging and so forth and so on. But they pretty much use Tajima machines, and that's kind of like the what everything is built around. Like the DST format is pretty much dictated by Tajima, and everybody else has copied that. So, um, back to the lesser price, and I don't want to call them cheap. If you look at some of the um, information that I gathered on the internet, they're using that word and stuff. I like to say budget friendly because it shouldn't be something that you look at and say, oh, because it costs XYZ, it's not a good machine. It's a cheap machine. That is not necessarily the case. So let me give you a little bit of the specs of the machines. And these machines are considered commercial machines. Whereas my 10 needle machine that I got from brother pretty much is considered a semi-commercial machine. And I think that's kind of the going thought process. Any machine that is less than 15 needles pretty much is put in the category of a semi commercial, home commercial machine. 15 needles on up pretty much is considered to be a um, commercial machine. People that get these big machines, 15 needle, 16, 18, 20 needle machines are usually considered getting commercial machines. And I guess they're assuming that people are doing these for businesses, even though a lot of us are doing businesses from our homes and are using those big machines. Those machines like the buy, the smart stitch, and the pulling are 15 needles machines, and they are being marketed as commercial machines. And they are being marketed as commercial machines because of their um, needle number, the size of their hoop, which averages a 14 by 20. All three of those machines at their interest level are considered to have the embroidery field to be 14 inches by 20 inches, which is a pretty good size. If anybody has a, say, luminaire or a what is Solaris, Radiance, the Avenir. Those are the newer machines that I'm familiar with that are single needle machines. Those machines are running right around 10.5 by 16 or 18 because I think the Avenir is 18. So if you have those machines and you know how large that hoop is, then imagine the size of a 14 by 20 embroidery hoop. Now you know that puts a smile on my face because you know I love, love, love a big hoop. So that is appealing to me. It really is to have a hoop that large. Also, the uh, stitch per minute is averaging around 1,000 to 1,200 stitches per minute, which again, my 10 needle machine and most 10 needle machines that I'm aware of will run at least 1,000 stitches per minute. Now, keep in mind that does not mean that's how fast you're going to run it, because there's a whole lot of different circumstances that are involved that will make a determination how fast you are stitching. So they also are marketed to do flats, which would be like, hoodies, jersey, t-shirts, blankets, anything that's flat, and caps, which is extremely important. Also, they are Wi-Fi and they also have touch screen controls. And so on paper, that's very attractive because it's very familiar to what is already out there, which would make it a little user friendly. Now, you have to keep in mind if you have never used a multi needle machine before, then when I say user friendly, it's still going to be a challenge because it is totally different. Well, I don't want to say totally different, but there's a significant difference between using a multi-needle machine versus a single needle machine. It's not that complicated and it's not a huge learning curve. However, it is a learning curve. It is some differences that you have to be aware of. And, you need to keep that in mind. So, what is the reality check? So, because machines are not just about specs, you have to think about one of the most important things, I think, when you are looking at one of these budget friendly machines. And I looked at a couple of YouTube videos from people that actually have the machine and they're using it. And this one gentleman in California that has a YouTube channel, don't remember his name, but he said that his bi mirror machine is pretty much equal to his Barunda as far as production on flats. There is a difference, and even Buy states that in their um, information that there is a difference in the production of caps. One main thing is you have to slow that machine down more with the caps than you would with doing flats. And I think that is pretty much um, similar to any other machine. Now, I have done several caps on my 10 needle brother machine. I don't stitch I don't put my machine up to the max anyway. I don't think I've ever made anything all the way through at 1,000 stitches per minute. The fastest that I have ever run my machine all the way has been 800. Now I have gone up to 900 for a short period of time, and I did 1,000 stitches just for the heck of it, just to see how it would work. Now, anytime a technician comes out and works on it, they put it up to the max. They have to check it out, and they'll run it all the way through when they're doing the tension test at the $1,000, at the 1,000 stitches per minute speed. And it amazes me every time they do it because it stitches well. It doesn't seem to vibrate like crazy, and all of the things that tend to happen that I don't like, because I mentioned it to the gentleman that was here a week or so ago that I didn't run my machine at 1,000 stitches. And he said, "Oh, you could do that. It's no big deal." And I told him because I can't stand the vibration and it just seems like it's just gonna hop out the window. And what he ended up doing was adjusting the legs on my machine and screwing them down into, well, not into the floor, but down, screwing them down to the floor to stabilize my cart, which it was not. And he ran it again and he said, "See, it's, hardly any vibration at all." So I wasn't even aware of that, didn't think about it. It didn't even cross my mind. And that very well may be exactly what's going to resolve my situation with running my machine at that speed. I'll get enough courage up to do that on my own eventually. But if that's the case with you guys, think about making sure that your cart is screwed, the legs are screwed down all the way around as tight to the floor as it can be to try to stabilize it, to try to eliminate some of that vibration. So that's just a little tip. But where are we going to be with getting these machines to our homes and running them if we don't have the support? That's the biggest issue. Now, I don't know specifically, like I said, because I don't have one of these machines, but where's the support? I've read and I've heard that there are no techs in the US. However, there are techs that will work with you over the phone and over, like FaceTime and stuff like that. They will work with you. But as far as a body coming to your home or your shop, or well, you're not going to take your machine into the shop anyway, because part of the issue with these machines, and that's with all commercial machines, they are extremely heavy. They're big. The spec on the buy mirror is 295 pounds. The weight on the buy vision is 400 pounds. Mm-mm. Those machines aren't going anywhere once you get them in there. So um, that's what's going on. The other part, of course, is like I mentioned, the learning curve. Now, if you don't have a tech or anybody that can come out and help you, do you have someone that can walk you through setting it up and all of that? Yes, from what I've been told, they do have that available. However, keep in mind that these are Chinese-made machines, and some of your support, there may be language barriers that you have to deal with. So keep that in mind. The other thing that really is important, extremely important, which I had a conversation with my tech guy about it, and he said his biggest concern are parts. If something happens and you need the part, one, can you get the part? And two, how quickly can you get the part? Those are something to keep in mind when you're looking at some of these budget friendly machines, and also resale value. If you only paid $5,300 for your machine, you kept the machine 4 or 5 years or 2 or 3 years or whatever, and you want to upgrade or get out the business or whatever the situation is, and you want to unload your machine, how much money you think you're going to get? And will you be able to sell that machine? So resale value is very important. I know people that are selling their Racomas, their um, Brothers, their Melcos, those machines, and they're selling in the thousands of dollars. They paid thousands of dollars for them, and they're able to sell them for thousands of dollars. Of course, they're not going to get the total amount of money that they paid for that machine, but they're going to make a little change, and definitely enough to at least make some type of payment on a newer model. If you pay let me say something ridiculous like $20,000 for your machine and you sell it, hopefully you can get 15 and that's 15 towards another $20,000 machine. Or, reduce it by 5. You pay 15 and you can sell it for 10. Still, that's 10 towards another $15,000 machine. If you only paid $5,300 for a machine and you sell it, what you gonna get? 25 if you lucky? That's still half on another one of those machines, but you're not gonna be able to upgrade to a model that they considered um, more quality to just, and that's not me saying it because I don't have one of those machines, but I know that's what the literature is saying. So those are things that you have to take into consideration. And you know, what our experienced embroiderers looking at. And it's not the price. It shouldn't be the price. Although I really do believe, in all honesty, that that's what's happening right now. People are looking at the price and they're diving into it they um, because they they feel like they can get a machine now because it's more affordable. And I get it because trust and believe me, it is very tempting, it is very interesting, especially when I see other people with it. It's like, okay, is it worth the investment of the $5,300 to bring it home and see if it's going to work for you? And the biggest fear that I have personally is whether or not there's somebody that's going to maintain it. That's my biggest fear. um, so let me check and see who's in here. I see Val came in. Hi Val, and Carol, you came in as well. Thank you for stopping by. And let me see. Somebody said, Carol, you were asking me if I was happy with my new technician. Well, I'm happy that I didn't have to take my machine in. That is a definite plus. The mere fact that I did not have to drag this machine down some steps into a car and get it to a place and wait on it to get service. It wasn't going to get service the day that I take it in and then go back, pick it up, and drag it back. Yeah, I'm ecstatic when it comes down to that. Now, as far as the service, I'm satisfied. I didn't see anything that he did that was a lot different than what Justin did. The only difference that I would say is that Justin came to me with references because there were people that I knew that used him and were quite satisfied with his service. And so I got him with confidence and I wasn't disappointed. My new guy here, because I don't know anybody that embroiders here or in my nearby vicinity that I could, call and say, do you know Joe Blow and his service? He was well, I work with someone that knows this person, and I was speaking with this person about wanting to find somebody, and that's how I was connected to the guy that I use. And like I said, I was pleased with everything that I saw. Of course, I stayed in the room with him. I watched everything that he did. He went through the same process that Justin did. I had 3 needles that I felt like I was having difficulties with, and he took care of it just like that. So I was down to 7 needles, now I'm back up to 10. No problem. And on top of that, no extra money, and the fee was quite reasonable. So with all that being said, yeah, I'm happy with my new technician. I think I have been blessed with someone that is gonna help take care of my machine, and he did say call him if, for anything. And the other thing about it, he sews and embroiders himself. not just do work on machines and stuff. So he understands the questions and issues and concerns that you or me or anybody as an embroiderer would have, because he does it too. He owns two 6 needle machines, and then he says he owns a multitude of sewing machines and what have you. And he comes from a sewing family, so of course, it is. He does have that background, that experience. So yeah. Carol, you said you thought of selling your machine. It's so say, why would you sell your machine? Are you planning on upgrading? And you know, just make sure you don't give it away. That's all I got to say, because people are willing to pay a decent penny for a machine that is well taken care of. Because if you can, you know what it's worth. Talk with your dealer and just kind of get an idea of maybe what they will give you. They're gonna lowball you, but just get an idea of what they would give you. And then if you're lucky enough, go to another dealer and see if they have a used machine and see what they're selling it for. And then you can kind of get an idea what you can sell yours for. I think that would be a good way of going. And if you can't, maybe you can get some of that information over the phone, and then you can figure out what your machine is worth based upon the how many stitches is on it, and your maintenance record and all that kind of stuff, because that's pretty much what people look at. They look at how many stitches on the machine, how well has it been maintained, are there any major issues I need to be concerned about, and those kinds of things. And then if the price is right, because if you're selling a used machine, it's going to be less than what you would buy a spank brand new machine. So whoever gets it is definitely going to should be getting a bargain. Um, so hi Joyce, how are you? Um, oh, you said what a gift I got with my new tech. Yes, I'm very glad. And then Carol said, no, I'm keeping my baby. Okay, there you go. Keep your baby, honey, because I'm keeping mine. I know that's right. I'm keeping mine. I'm perfectly content with it. Well, I'm perfectly content with the quality of work it produces. Put it that way. Yeah, I would love to have more needles, and yes, I would love to have a larger sewing field. But since I don't, I'm happy with what I have. I'm very thankful. The name of my machine is Grateful, and I am grateful. The other thing I was talking about, what the benefits or some of the issues about buying these budget-friendly machine. And another thing is dealer support. You don't have dealer support um, like you would if you had a dealership right there in your neighborhood. That's not happening. And you don't necessarily, I don't think, buy it from a dealer. You buy it from wholesalers or warehouses or something like that. And so, is there a dealer support? Can you go into them for training? Will they come out and train you and those kinds of things? That's the next thing. Training and onboarding. What kind of training and onboarding do you get? Now, I know when I got my brother 10 needle machine, I was told that I could get all the training that I needed at the dealership that I purchased it at. However, I didn't go in and get any of it because I just didn't. I mean, it wasn't that far away where I couldn't go. I was still living in Florida. I was in Clearwater. I got it from Tampa. I probably could have driven over there a few times to get training, but I didn't think I needed any. However, the person was accessible via the phone, but not necessarily for training. But the training was offered, so that's the main part. The other thing is parts. I mentioned that parts availability. That's a big thing, big thing. Another thing that someone mentioned that I was listening to was hoops. Now, those machines come with hoops, but they come with those regular plastic hoops that you get with all machines. Many of us use magnetic hoops. Most of us use well, many of us use magnetic hoop, and most of the hoops that we use are mighty hoops. So, these machines aren't on the mighty hoop list. Not to say you can't get the bracket to fit. What you probably will have to do, from what I was told, is do a measurement and tell them exactly what the machine is. It's a bi-mirror, it's a smart stitch, it's a pull-in, it's a whatever, whatever. And these are the measurements. And then they can give you an equivalent, from what I was told, where it should fit and work, hopefully. But that's what you have to consider. I personally would be look if I was going to buy a buy, and I do know you can use Mighty Hoops now that I'm thinking clearly, because All Things Sean has a buy mirror and she is using her Mighty Hoops. I've seen her do that. So you can get the Mighty Hoops to fit them. But again, I don't know what the exact process is other than what I just told you, because that's what I've read. But because I know that I've seen her on YouTube doing different projects and stuff, she is using her Mighty Hoops, which is excellent. That is available for that machine. Um, the other thing is speed. This is to me is really not a selling point when it comes down to the machines, especially when they say anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 stitches per minute, because that's the average on most of these machines, and I don't think anybody really stitches any faster than that. There are people that I've seen on YouTube, like Angela Jasmina is one that comes to mind, that ups hers to 1,000 and she rolls with it. And she's got a zillion million nail codes and she rolls with her machines and she does her production every day. She's got that warehouse working and she does her 1,000 stitches per minute, which is fine because that's production, pro, productivity. The faster that you can stitch is the quicker you can get done with a project and the more projects you can do. So that's money, basically. Time is money. So if you have a bulk order of 100 items, if you can figure out how many items you can get stitched within a certain period of time, if you only have one machine or two machines, and that's another reason why people are getting these machines, because they're adding them to their arsenal, because their business has picked up and they want to get more machines, but they aren't at the position at this moment to afford another 10, 15, $20,000 machine. So why not get a $5,300 machine and move on? And that's what they're doing. And if that works for you, that's fine. But speed is not the only thing to look at, because their speed is average to what everybody else's is. And it just depends upon what it is that you're making. That's what I'm saying. Caps do run differently than flats, and that is in their advertisement. Dense designs slow the machines down. And you also have to be careful of stability and all of those kinds of things. That's going to slow it down. If you've ever paid any attention to your stitching, I don't care what speed you put that machine on, how many stitches per minute, certain areas of the design will stitch slower and certain areas will stitch faster. It just depends upon what it is doing. So I don't care if you have it at 1,200 stitches per minute. It is not going to stitch 1,200 stitches per minute for that entire design. That's not going to happen. That's not how it works. It will speed up or it will slow down based upon what it is stitching. And I do know certain items that you stitch will stitch better at a slower speed. You have to be careful. Some things do not stitch as well at the max as it does if you slow it down a little bit. You don't have to put it all the way down to its lowest speed unless it is freestanding lace. it is recommended that you put it down at its lowest speed. If you're using metallic thread, it is recommended that you put it down at its slowest speed. Other than that, you can put it at a reasonable speed based upon the material and the design. But it doesn't necessarily mean it is going to stitch at the max, regardless. So, Angela, how are you? I was very late, but I finally caught my first live. Hi. What area am I in? I am in Missouri, in Kansas City. Where are you? Are you in Kansas City? And Carol, my machine name is Stabby. What is this? Stabby McStab. What? Let me put my glasses on. Okay, these are my readers. And it says my machine name is Stabby McStab Face. Not near as beautiful as Great. Well, grateful is because I was very grateful to be able to get it. That's the reason why I named it that, because it was like that's a whole nother story. I don't want to tell it in the public like this, but there's a whole nother story. It turned out to my benefit, thank goodness, and I was quite grateful, quite grateful. Um, Now the next thing is my pet peeve, as you know, and that's hoop size. Um, it says that buyers overlook this. I don't. Even when I bought my 10 needle machine, I didn't necessarily overlook it. I accepted it because I liked the machine overall. But I have to tell you, I was looking at two other machines. One was the Melco before the Summit came out. It was the Melco EMX 16 or whatever that thing is, that the one just before the Summit. And my heart pretty much was set on the Melco because I liked everything that I saw about the Melco. The other one was the Avance, Avance, I think, and it's got the little sign thing, make it sound French. Avance. At least that's how I pronounce it. The day that I went to I actually went to look at the machine. And I made the purchase the same day. But the day that I went, I was supposed to go look at the Avance and then look at the Brother. The dealer that I was speaking with about the Avance, um, was hemming and hawing about the price, as I had spoken to them on the phone. And I was asking about the price, and I never did get a definitive price. And I don't know if it was because she didn't want to tell me over the phone or what the deal was, but I never could pinpoint her down, even an estimated price or, whatever. Because actually, when I went into the Brothers, I kind of knew what they were selling it for, and I got it for a better price. But anyway, I did some research. I I did some research. So I was really leaning toward the Avance because the Melco was out of my price range. It was a few bucks higher than what I was getting financed for. So that was kind of what the deal was there. And I had looked at the Brother and I was really impressed with the Brother as well. And the Avance, like I said, I couldn't come up with what the price was because I wanted to make sure I had my money. But the Avance is a Coldesi, Coldesi company that makes it. Maybe you guys have heard about it or not. I do have some information on it that I'll tell you about. But you get two hoops of everything, kind of like how the Red Line does. Every size hoop that they have, you get two of them. And their feel is, I have it right here. Their embroidery field is staggering. I want to say 16 by 24. That's what I'm thinking. I can find it right quickly. Why is it when you look for something you can't find it? That is crazy. I got the speed, I got the cap thing. Embroidery area 22 by 14. So it's 22 inches by 14 inches. So it's a little bit bigger than the um the bi-mirror and all of that, because the bi-mirror is, what is that? Uh I forgot what the by is already. I know it's something by it's 14 by 20. That's what it is. The bi-mirror is 14 by 20, and the Avance is 14 by 22. So it's a little bit bigger than that. It's 15 needles, and it also you get two of everything. So you get, yeah, you get two of everything. And I'll speak a little bit more on that. But that was what really kind of impressed me when I saw you gonna get, that big of I mean, that hoop is huge. You hear me? There is absolutely no way in the world I wouldn't have been able to make whatever I wanted to make. And you also get a tray that you can use for patches and stuff. So you get all of that. All of that. And Angel, you said, I thought about getting an off-brand machine, but I am in love with Brother because they are easier to use. Yeah, and yeah, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. So back to what I was saying, the average is 14 by 20 field. Large, you can do large jacket bags, big totes, and you have to do fewer rehooping and all of that, which is true. But sizes and everything, as we all know. The other thing is, where do these machines fit? These machines are not junk machines, but they're not magic either. They're considered uh, entry commercial, is what I've been reading. Entry commercial. So what I have heard from people and what I have read is that if you are just getting started with your business and you want to get into um, a commercial machine, which is a 15 needle machine or bigger, a lot of people are jumping in with the smart stitch, to pull in machines like that, because you're getting your 15 needle machine. You're not paying a lot of money for it. You get a chance to get your feet wet. You get a chance to see if this is something that you like, that's going to work for you. And the gentleman that I was talking about earlier that has the Barunda and the buy, and he was talking about different things about it. He said that's a good machine to get started. But once your big business takes off, and you're in the groove now and you're ready to upgrade or add to, then he, not me, he recommends you move up to the next level, like a Tajima or Barunda or something like that, because that is going to maintain your business. Because the more you're using your machine, the more possibility of you having issues. So you want a machine that is going to perform, and you also have the technical support to take care of the machine. Now that makes perfect sense. If I was starting all over again and had, because when I first thought about getting a 10 needle machine, I mean a multi needle machine, I would be perfectly honest about, I had absolutely no intention of paying the money for my multi-needle machine that I paid for my 10-needle machine. That was not on my radar because I didn't even realize that's how much those machines cost until I started researching it and I almost fell out my seat. The first time I saw a Stell Air in the shop, I almost fell out in the store. I couldn't believe because I had my SE 1900 that I got off of Amazon for $9.99. That's what they were costing back then. I had no idea that you go from $1,000 to six, seven, eight, nine, 10 on up, thousands of dollars. It was a shock. It was sticker shock to me. I went into a shop and I saw a surgery machine was five, $6,000. That was sticker shock to me. I had no idea because I had been out of the sewing crafting arena. I had not looked at a machine. I didn't have any clue. The last machine I had was a Kenmore or a Singer or something like that. And you know those machines didn't cost a lot of money back in the day. And that's all I knew about buying machines. So when I got, you know, my little $1,000 machine, I thought I was doing a grand. Like I tell you my little funny story that happened to me. I bought a Baby Lock Celebrate Surgeon, which is an airflow. And I saw it advertised, and the manufacturer suggested retail price was $2,500, and I could get it for 1,000. I'm like, oh, that's a bargain. Yeah, go ahead and get that. So I got the machine. I'm happy. I got me a $2,500 machine, but I didn't pay that much for it. So I had the opportunity to take a class because I never surged before. Didn't know anything about surgery. So I took the class. I packed up my little machine and went into the classroom and set my machine up on the table and looked around. Now the Baby Lock Celebrate is a four spool surgery. Perfectly fine machine. But I'm looking around at all these 8-spool machines. It was me and one other woman that had a 4-spool surgery. I felt like I was in the wrong place. I felt this big up in there with all these big, beautiful machines and my little bitty machine. Because my little bitty machine wouldn't do some of the techniques that they wanted to do because you needed to have an 8-needle machine. And I only had a 4-needle machine. Oh, I'll teach you a workaround. And I'm like, here I am thinking I got me something. And I didn't realize that I had me a little bitty ghetto machine. That's what I called it. I said, oh my goodness. I had no idea. I thought I had done something big and I didn't even realize that I had a little baby machine. But that's okay. I still have my Baby Lock Celebrate and I use it and I'm perfectly happy with it. No problem. But that's an eye opener for me. I had no idea what the prices of machines were when I hopped into this. This was like, what? Are you kidding me? So now it's all coming to full circle. It makes perfect sense that people are investing in these budgeted machines now because the price of these machines they out there. They are out there. They do a whole lot of stuff. They are wonderful machines, but those prices are out there. Even sewing machines, just plain sewing machines are expensive. So it's interesting. It's kind of funny if you stop and think about it. Um, okay, so Angel, you say you're from Philadelphia. Okay, well, Joyce, meet Angel, Angela, and Angela meet Joyce. You two are both from Philadelphia. Maybe you all can kind of talk to each other. And Val, I forgot Val's on here as well. So we got 3 people that I'm aware of that are from Philadelphia that are on here. Um, S3V77 V, okay. I don't know your name, so give me a name where I can call you. Don't have to call you all these numbers and stuff. S3V. And you say preach. But anyway, and Jenny, you say you love your brother machine. I love my brother machine. I love my SE 1900, which her name is Inspiration. I have her name on her machine, and I named her Inspiration because she truly inspired me to get deeper into embroidery. Because when I bought her, I had never embroidered anything, and I had only sewn, had not done any sewing for a long time. And so to get my SE 1900 brother machine, I was inspired, and it inspired me to get my 10 needle machine because I knew I fell in love with embroidery, and I knew it was going to be something that I was going to continue to do because I loved it and I still love it and I'm still learning and I'm enjoying it. And S3B, you said you remember watching my videos when you first got your PR 1055. Okay. Well, good. And I've been a great help since. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I'm going to get, believe it or not, and I know I've said it before, but I am going to get back to doing my little tutorials and stuff and putting them out. I haven't done that since I moved. And no excuse, just the truth. I just have not been motivated to do that because I'm not really loving my space. In all honesty, I'm not loving my space. And when I say space, I'm talking about the entire house. And you have to kind of love where you are to kind of get where you want to be. And my room, I thought I had set it up where everything was going to function even better than where I came from. But in me trying to get everything placed, I think I did a worse job because I can't find nothing. I put stuff up, I can't find anything, and it's frustrating. So I am going to resituate my room. Even my pegboards I have on the wall, I am going to redo. I want to do a total room redo, basically. Rearrange everything and put things in a better workable order. Some things I have out that I thought I was going to use and I haven't used them in a year. So they're going to be put up to make room for other things that I have put up that I need to use. Like for instance, my scanning cut is underneath the shelving I have over here, and I got to pull it out to use it. And that's one reason why I haven't done my arms yet, because I'm going to use my scanning cut to do that. And I want to have my stuff where all I have to do is use it. Use it. I don't want to have to dig, pull, put up, put it down. That does not work for me. If I have to do that, something ain't gonna get used because I don't feel like messing with it like that. So the things that I know that I will be using more often are going to be the things that I can just reach and get. The things that I probably won't use but maybe once or twice a year, if that, those are the things that are gonna go away and do the rearranging. So once I get that up, then I will be doing more tutorials. I I have plans. I put it that way. I have plans about doing stuff since it's been decided that we're going to be here at least another year. And that was the other reason. Everything was temporary as far as I was concerned, but uh, we changed our mind a little bit on that. And so I might as well get with the program. Hi, Unbiased LLC. How you doing? And S3V, you said totally understandable. Um, and hi, Danielle. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. So, let's see. The other thing that I found out is that the framing or the way the machines are set up are neutral. They call it neutral framing, which means these machines are similar internal platforms and everything like all of the other machines, which is a good thing. And that's one reason why no one is calling them junk machines. Let me make that clear. No one that I have heard anywhere has called any of these machines junk machines. So what does that mean? It's relatively safe to purchase one. You just have to look at all the other issues or things that I don't even call them issues, but challenges that you may have to take into consideration. Just think about all of that. Uh, this support and setup and all that kind of stuff may be a little bit different, but it's a machine. You learn if you learn your LCD panel and what those icons do, then you will be able to work your machine. That's the whole trick to all of them, including the Brother 1055. I have some videos on there telling you how to use it. The good thing about the PR 1055 Brother machine is that there's some education, not as much as some of the other machines on YouTube, but you can get um, the playbook, which I did, which was very helpful. The machine itself has tutorial videos on there, although they don't have sound. I don't know about the newest machine that they have, the 1060W. I don't know if their tutorials have sound or not that's on the machine. I just know the 1055X tutorials that's on the machine has no sound, but it is a tutorial videos on there, several of them, and then the playbook which I have purchased, and I use that playbook religiously until I felt more comfortable. I will be doing some more videos or updating some of the videos that I've already put out to tell you about the icons and the stuff that it does, and even going more into my design center, because what's very important, I have always thought and have always promoted that we get all of this wonderful bells and whistles that we get with our machine, and half of us are not using them. I'm pretty sure because I don't use all of mine. I do use them, but I don't use all of mine. So I want to use more of them. Okay, Danielle, that's cool. No, no big deal. Um, Now, the next thing is it says, if someone asked me today, how would I evaluate these machines? And I said a few minutes ago, if these machines were available to me 5 years ago when I got my brother machine, if I was aware of them, they were out and about from what I've been told. They were here in in the US available, but they weren't common knowledge. I had never heard of a Vimera or Smart Stitch or Pulling or anything like that 5 years ago. But if they had been out there, marketed and available at the prices that they're selling them for now, back then, I probably would have gotten one because I wouldn't really have known any better because I didn't have a machine at all. And the price would have been hitting me where I was thinking about the kind of money I was thinking about spending anyway. Because when I first decided I was going to get a multimeter machine, I was looking for something that was going to cost me around $5,000 or $6,000. I wasn't looking for something that was going to cost me a mint. It was like, oh wow, oh really? It was a sticker shock, but I was able to get it, so I was able to get it, so you get it. And I'm not disappointed that I did that, but I would have followed the first plan. And where I would be now 5 years later, I don't know. Would I still have that machine? I don't know. I can't address that, but it would have given me what I really wanted in the beginning, and that was more needles and a larger embroidery field, which is what I wanted from the beginning. So, uh, now I am saying Be careful and don't shop by price first. Shop by support, extremely important. What you're going to be using the machine for, and your learning style. Is this machine going to be easy for you to learn? And if necessary, how much downtime can you tolerate just in case you have issues, need a part, and it takes you a minute to get it? Because don't know for sure if the part has to come from China. And the other thing is, with all of this crazy tariff mess going back and forth, I don't know, we don't know how that's going to work price-wise with these machines, as well as getting parts in a timely manner. So you need to keep all that in mind. Um, Angela, you said you have machine envy. You say you have hoop size envy. I have a PE 900 with a 5x7 and trying to use a 5x12 repositional hoop. You know what? The SE 1900 is a 5x7. That's the largest hoop. So don't have that envy. The 900 is a very good machine. Very good machine. And it's a 5x7. My SE 1900 is a 5x7. I started off, believe it or not, with a brother machine. I think it was called Project Runway. And because I used to watch Project Runway, never knew anything about embroidery. Saw the machine on HSN, QVC, one of them. Ordered it, got it home, and they told you, oh, you can go bigger. It's a 4x4, but you can go bigger, and you can do whatever you want with it, and blah 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 blah. And I, bought, they reeled me in hook, line, and sinker. Got it home, started using it. That little bitty tiny, and I was like, oh no, this will never do. This is never gonna do for me. What I'm gonna do? Make stitch on handkerchiefs? I think I kept that machine a week or two at the max, and I sent it back. And then I got my SC 1900 and have not regretted it. And I went through the pandemic making masks and making money with my SC 1900. I did get my Tanita machine in 2021. I wasn't using the SE 1900 exclusively that long. I think I had it for months, not years, when I moved up to the 10 needle machine. So I moved quickly, going from one to the other. It didn't take me long to realize that even with the 5x7, that hoop was not as large as I like it. Because if anybody's been watching me, I love big hoops and I love jacket backs and all that kind of stuff. So that's the deal. Unbiased, you said brother machines are expensive, but I love mine. Yes, they are. They are expensive. Um, they're not the most expensive machine, to be honest about it. If you get the Tajima, Barunda, uh, Melco's not cheap. All of those machines are up there. They are up there. So yeah, they're not that inexpensive. Um, so this is going to move me into talking about a few other machines, because here's a list of budget multi-needle machine and the comparison. And I'm going to start off. Um, I'm going to talk about the machine type, needle, field size, speed, range, and positioning. Positioning mean whether it's entry level, budget, commercial, whatever. So the first one I have on my list is the Bi-Mirror, which is the most popular budget machine that I've seen. Of course, as I mentioned, it's 15 needle. Field size is 14 by 20. And stitch per minute is up to 1,200. And it is considered a budget commercial. Next one on the list is Smart stitch, S1501. Again, 15 needle, fill size 1420, speed 1200 stitches per minute, budget commercial. Now pulling, I only knew pulling had a multi-needle machine as of last Tuesday when somebody mentioned, well, I looked on YouTube, on Amazon. But pulling has a 15 needle machine, 14 by 20. Its speed ranges from 1,000 to 1,200 stitches per minute, and it is considered a budget entry. So keep that in mind, budget entry, which to me, and then the other thing that I found out, which I have here, and I'll tell you, they have multiple levels of their multi-needle machine, which I found to be quite interesting. The pulling machine, multi-needle machine, is similar to the pulling flat. They have levels of their machines. The next one they talk about is the Racoma EM1010. It's a 10 needle machine. It has a smaller fill, doesn't say what it is, 1,000 stitches per minute, and it is considered an entry multi-needle machine. Now, it's not listed in this list here, but they also have one called the Creator, which is their newer 10 needle machine. I don't know what the specs are because it's not listed on here. I just know it is a 10 needle machine. It is a Racoma, and it is called Creator. The next one on the list is Avance, AVANCE, with the little comma mark on there, whatever that's called, that little mark that you get for if you're doing a French name. It's Avance 1501C, 15 needle. It says larger fill, but as we found out, it's a 14 by 22 embroidery fill. It is considered, the speed is considered commercial range, which I think is still 1,200. And it is positioned as a mid-tier dealer supported machine. I don't know what that means, but they have it listed as mid-tier dealer supported. Then we get to the SWF models. And I've heard these are really good machines for caps. They have a 7 to 12. Now, they also have larger machines, but it's not on this list, I guess because it's not considered a budget friendly machine. The field size varies, and I think it starts off, I think I saw like an 8 by 12, 8 by 13 for the 7, and when you got to the 12, no, the 7 was like a 8 by 10 or something, and then the 12 needle was comparable to the brother. And the speed commercial range, which is around 1,000 to 1,200, and it is considered an entry level commercial machine. So, what are the questions that you need to be asking if you're going to consider these machines? First and foremost, who services these machines in the U.S.? Please keep these questions in mind if you are ever considering these budget machines. Who services these machines in the U.S.? Number two, how long are parts shipping time? How long does it take you to get a part if you need one? Number three, is training included live or recorded? Recorded mean like YouTube tutorial type training versus a live person talking to you, FaceTime or something along that line where you can interact with each other or face to face. Number 4, what's the real warranty process and what is your warranty? Number 5, how long does setup take for a beginner? I've never used a multi-needle machine in my life, so how long is it going to take me to learn how to use your machine? That's your question. Even if you've used it. If I was to get a machine, one of these machines, I would act like I don't know diddly squat about multi-needle machines just to see what they're going to tell me. So I'll know whether or not this is something I can handle. Number 6, do I get cap training specifically? Because learning how to stitch caps is a little bit different of a learning curve than it is flats. Many of you can testify to that because a lot of people, are intimidated by caps, and you want to know if you're planning on doing caps at all, you need to know if you're going to get some special training with that. Number 7, what happens if my machine arrives out of timing? If it's got a hiccup when I get it and it's not running right. I remember, I believe it was Ada that got his bi vision, and or maybe it was somebody else. But anyway, somebody had to do some tinkering around with it. Now that I think about it, I don't think A-Dub had to, but I think I saw somebody that had to literally do some tinkering around and adjusting. Now I know John Deere had to do that with the pulling flatbed machine, but I think I saw someone that had to do something with the buy. They had to do a little tinkering around with it. So how do you handle that if it doesn't stitch right when you get it? Number 8, are parts proprietary or standard? That means if I need a bobbin case, can I just go on Amazon and get a bobbin case? Can I call up sewing parts online and order a bobbin case? Or do I need to have a bi mirror bobbin case or a pulling bobbin case or a smart stitch bobbin case, Racoma bobbin case? You get the point. So you need to know that. What software works best with it? I think every one of these machines come with their own software, which I wasn't aware, which goes back to when Marina was talking about software last week, which I apologize to her. I did not realize that these machines came with their own software, and some of them even include digitizing software, which you don't have to use there, but it does come with it. But if it comes with their own software, is that going to be something you have to use? Are you going to be struggling? Is it hard to learn? Number 10, what do most beginners struggle with? What is your Achilles heel here that I need to be aware of, that once I get this machine, this is a specific area that I may have problems with? So those are the 10 questions that they recommend that you do ask up front before you make a decision to get one of these machines. And I think they're very important questions to ask. So if anybody is considering that, thinking about it, been wondering about it, hopefully this has been something that has opened your eyes about, whether you should or shouldn't or whatever, and I'm not trying to sway anyone away from it, because I have to tell you, it is a tempting situation. It really is. Now, I did dive into, um, oh yeah, I want to read this one. Oh, I had to pull. I I went on Reddit. I think that's what it's called, Reddite, because um, in my research it came up with an article, and it says Smart Stitch versus Buy. I'm considering my first commercial machine, and I want to establish my business before investing in a higher price machine, which is what some people are suggesting. And they're saying they're going to start off with, personalization, baby blankets, etc., one color, all of that kind of stuff. And she can't really justify spending that money on a Tajima just to do those kinds of things. So what can she start off with first before investing? She wants her business to grow before she spends the big money. And so this is the one that I want to read. It says these machines are essentially the same thing as they are just rebranded by Daiho models, which is a popular Chinese model. If you have previous embroidery experience, you most likely will be able to muscle them into adequate results. If you're concentrating on flats, you should be fine for the most part. However, they do have limitations versus a Tajima, which makes sense. A Barunda, SWF, Melco, ZSK, Brother Baby Lock are happy. So basically, they're saying it's limited to some of the more known brand machines. Don't know what those limits are. Happy has some good financing recently on their 7 and 12 needle machines, and SWF has a reasonably priced 7 needle machine as well. I would look there and at the other mentioned brands before I go with a Chinese model as my sole machine. So they're recommending that they look elsewhere first. Those machines, in my experience, are best suited as supplemental machines rather than primary. Some popular Chinese models that are rebrands, um, and they mentioned a couple of them I never heard of before, and then the Red Line, the Buy, the Smart Stitch, and the Racoma. All of these are Chinese machines. Um, so, as not only do they have limitations, but there is a lack of support, mostly Facebook groups and online chat versus actual text. And I heard that there were no texts for a buy in America. Not sure. Um, if you just search, as not only do they have limitation, I said that about the support. If you just search these machine models, especially the buy, in this group and other machine embroidery groups, there are a couple extensive posts from experienced operators who detail the hurdles they face with their machines. So best of luck for whatever you decide. So that was one of the comments that they made. Someone else said they limit the width of the satin stitch. They're on and on. And so somebody said here, I have a bi mirror. My primary machines are Tajima, Melco, and a brother. I bought the buy just to help me get large jobs done faster. If you're a self-starter and not easily frustrated, I would go for it. The quality of the stitching is fine, just as good as my Tajima, and actually better than my Melco. That was interesting. No complaints there. However, the firmware, which is their software type stuff, is glitchy and frustrating to use. Common operations such as programming the colors require way more input than what you think would be necessary. An example of the glitchiness is framing forward at the beginning of a design that has been flipped 180 degrees. It will send the hoop in completely wrong direction, but you get used to the peculiarities, and once you get used to it, it actually starts stitching and is usually fine. So that's just a few of the comments that some of the people that have used these machines have made specifically about the buy machine. So there are some glitches and concerns that they may have, which is not surprising to me. Now, I mentioned the Avance 1501C, which is a product of Coldesi, Coldesi, and their website is coldesi.com. if you're interested in looking them up at all. And they state that they have the Avance from Codesi has a ton of new features and three things um, out of the box that customer asks for every day. They offer amazing training, which is wonderful. They have world-class support, which is wonderful. And they have excellent financing options that you can ask for. So those are the three main things that they're touting. Peace of mind and freedom to create. You get everything you need to succeed, including training on how to use it and the basics of embroidery. You'll get a great selection of hoops and account support in the business. This is the one that I said that I was thinking about getting before I got my brother machine. I never actually got a chance to put my hands on it, but I was quite interested in that machine. You get free professional training, financing available, 5-year warranty, exclusive Codesi rewards, complimentary Kickstart digitizing services, full supply startup kit, including backings and threads. It has Wi-Fi connection for transferring designs. And I know you get 2 of every hoop, and the size is 14 by 22 for the embroidery feel. And what else are they saying? 15 needles. The screen is 10 inches, and on and on and on. Oh, one of their newest things, and I don't know what size it is, but they say they have a small sewing arm, which is what Melco brags about. So um, that's interesting to know because that's a selling point. One of the selling points that impressed me with the Melco about the sewing arm, where you actually could stitch on pockets and baby clothes and things like that with the sewing arm, and you don't have to use like what is it, Durkee fast frames and all that kind of stuff. So that's interesting, even though they didn't say what the sewing arm is. Also, enhanced cap capability. That's supposed to be something new as well. Makes sewing caps a lot easier. It doesn't say what it is. It just says that it's new. And then it goes on and on to talk about all the other things. As far as their cap frame is concerned, it does a full 270, which is basically, I think, ear to ear versus just in the front. So that's a good thing as well. Real-time stitching preview, and it has a 5-year warranty and free shipping. Now, the price range, and I do not know if this is sale price or their regular, not regular price, or their established price, but they said the package is, and I printed this off today. I don't know what the date of this being published, but it runs usually runs for $12,495, which takes it out of the budget-friendly realm, uh, but affordable because now it is selling for $10,495. Now, keep in mind, clarification, if you're going to pay cash, not finance it, cash, credit card, whatever you're going to do, then there's a $2,000 instant rebate, which would get it down to $10,495. Or if you finance it, you can finance it for 5.99% financing. And then you get a free printer or something along. So you're going to either pay 12.5 or $10,500 for that particular machine. Which again, when I was looking at this machine 5 years ago, nobody would tell me how much it cost. So who knows? I might have ended up with a Avance if they had told me at the time what it was going to cost. It weighs 197 pounds, so it is lighter than the Bay Mirror because the Bay Mirror is listed at 295 pounds. This one is 197, so it's almost 100 pounds lighter than your buy, which is interesting. The 10 needle brother, my 10 needle brother is listed at 92 pounds or 98 pounds. Thank you. Because it's movable. I have literally taken it out to take to a service place. I've not always been blessed with somebody to come to my house. So I've had the machine 5 years, and out of the 5 years, I've had to take it in 3 times, and I've had someone come out twice. So that's where I am. At least it is movable. Me and my husband picked it up, put it in the car, took it to the place. They took it out the car. They kept it. They fixed it. When we came to get it, they put it back in the car. We brought it home, and he and I brought it in the house. We did that. So, uh, didn't have to do stairs. That was the blessed part about it. At that particular time, we did not have to do stairs. So we were able to move the thing ourselves. Now you talking about these 200 and 300 pound machines and 400 pound machines? They're gonna have to stay where they are. That's not gonna happen. Now I mentioned Racoma. Now we all know about Racoma. It's a Chinese machine. They have they put out a list, and I don't know if this is President Day. Yeah, it is. It was the President Day sale. So it may be over with since, February is almost over. They have the Creator 10 needle. They did not put the EM1010 in this list. It was on a separate page. But when I looked at it, believe it or not, I was surprised to see that is not going to be available again until April, is what it said. But it was selling for $499. And I was like, you have got to be kidding. $4,999 for the Racoma EM1010. And I know for a fact that machine used to go for 8,000 some odd dollars. So uh, they are discounting that machine basically because they are promoting their new machine, which is the Creator 10 needle for embroidery machines for crafters. $8,999 is the President's sale price, down from $10,995. Then they have their Marquee 15 needle. They have a Marquee 20 needle. Now, the President's sale is $8,900 versus 16 for the 15 needle, and 10,000 versus 17,000 for the 20. There's some big discounts just for, yeah, check them out. Then of course they have another 10 needle. They have the 2 heads, and they have what does this look like, a 3 head. The 2 head runs on sale for 14,000 versus 30,000, and the 3 head runs for 20,000 versus 35,000. And then they have, I don't know how many heads this thing is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 8 heads for 4,500, not 100. 45,000 versus 55,000. So that's kind of where they are all over the place with Racomas. And, of course, because they're all different kinds, they got all different sizes and all that stuff. They had the information about the pulling was on Amazon. That was the only place I could find information about the pulling 10 needle machine, 15 needles, 14 by 20 fill, and it's running for $4,899. Then they have one that is $4,799. I don't know what the difference is, but they're less than $5,000 for the pulling 10 needle. And remember, it said it was an entry level machine. So I don't know about that one. Then you have your Smart Stitch, which great customer service, support with free training is what they say. Embroidery machine with unbeatable price. Local delivery, speed service for fast delivery. They have 3 warehouses in the USA. Yeah. Their vision is to provide a one-stop embroidery shop with quality embroidery products. Uh, they're affiliated some kind of way with the new broderie. You know, on Amazon, you can buy that bro thread, BROTHREAD. I call it bro thread. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, but I have bought bro thread and stabilizer and stuff like that. They are affiliated with them some kind of way because they talk about the Smart Stitch embroidery and it's designed to make your vision a reality and you can trust them and on and on and on. And then it says the new Bro Thread understands that the success of embroidery project relies heavily on the quality and reliability of the material. So they are connected some kind of way. Did not know that until today. And so they will um, sell you the machine, and they have machine accessories. And then, of course, they have the thread and the stabilizer and all of that kind of stuff. Now, the thing that surprised me the most, I had never heard of Smart Stitch until maybe about a month ago. And these people, that's 3 machines right there. Then the next page, you got 3 different machines. Then the next page, you got the multi-head machine. So Smart Stitch got a lot of machines. I didn't know anything about any of them. And they are on the budget list. They are on the budget list. And back to buy. This comes off of their website. This is what you get, the machine and all of the stuff. $5,399. That includes your tax and your shipping and everything. And it is uh the width looks like it's 14 by 20. When they ship it, it comes in a wooden case. It's 295 pounds. When you get it with all of the packing and everything that goes with it, it's going to be 419 pounds. So extra 100 pounds of stuff. The machine size is what is it? 70 by 75 by 159 centimeters, which is what, 29.5 by 27.9 by 62.6. So you got the width and the depth and the height. And so it's 62.6 inches. So it's roughly what, 5 feet, my height. So tall as me, and I'm short. I'm 5 feet 2. This is 5 feet 2. 5 feet 2.5 is what it is. Um, it's not a huge machine. I've seen it on the videos on YouTube and stuff, so it may be about the same size, if not a little larger than those of us that have the 10 needle machine by Brother. Uh, it's just significantly heavier, and that's supposed to make it a better quality. It doesn't, shake, rattle, and roll, I guess. I don't know why it has to be so heavy. I guess because they consider it a commercial machine. It does have 15 needles. So I'm pretty sure it's a little bit larger than our machine, but that's pretty much it. So hi Joy and hi Sean. How are you? Thank you guys for joining. Uh Joy, you said hello, my beautiful queen and family in the chat. Hope you're having a blessed day. I am. Thank you. Uh Carol said those are super crazy Racoma deals. They are. Yeah, I agree with that. And Angela, you said, glad I caught this live. You dropped some value jewels. Thank you. Appreciate that. Um, and Carol, you said those questions were great questions to consider. Sassy, how are you? Sassy, classy, custom. Great information. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, let's see. And unbiased, do the smart stitch machines all come with the embroidery stand? I think I didn't see anything in my research that said you had to buy the stand. Now, the pictures and all of that stuff could be very misleading because you may or may not. I don't think so, and the reason why I'm saying I don't think so is because when they show their accessories and what comes with it, it never says stand optional or anything like that. So that would definitely be a question that I would certainly be asking, which was not on the list. But what all comes with this machine? Now they will tell you all the hoops and like with the buy you get a starter kit. So you get stabilizers, you get threads, you get the bobbins already wound. You get a bunch of stuff. You get your tools. You get stuff to get started. You can start right off the bat, day one, and not really have to go out and buy anything to get started with your machine, which is great because that didn't happen with the brother machine. You got the machine. You didn't get threads. You didn't get nothing. You know to do it with. I had it because I bought it ahead of time, but it didn't come with, well, I take that back. It was some things that came with it. I take that back. They did have a little kit that came from Madeira, in all honesty, but I didn't get like 10 spools of thread. I got samples, like a sample thing. I got a sample of stabilizers, a little booklet thing that shows you what all the different stabilizers that Madeira sells, and the Madeira thread book, I think, and then I got 2 or 3 spools of Madeira thread, and maybe some bobbins or something. I didn't get the full package like I know with pulling and buy. You're getting stabilizer, you're getting threads, you're getting bobbins, you're getting tools, you're getting stuff where you literally, and they say you can get started right away as soon as you get it. Now, do you get a setup when they bring it to your door? Do they unbox it, uncrate it? It comes in a wooden box, the buy does. Do they unbox it for you? Uh, do you have to make sure you got some big strong men around to get it into your place of business and set up on the stand and all that kind of stuff? I'm pretty sure you do because somebody said be sure you have 4 men around at least, which I understand. So those are other things that you have to take into consideration. If you are a little old lady like me at home and you want to get this machine, you need to get your grandkids and your grandkids friends and everybody else that you know, your brothers and cousins and who knows what, to come and help you get your machine in and get it set up and all of the stuff that you have to do because that thing is heavy. And you also need to make sure you know exactly where you're going to put it, where you're going to be leaving it there because that thing is heavy. Now, is it the cart on wheels and stuff where you may be able to move it around once you get it? Hopefully. I don't know. Even if it's on wheels, I don't know if I could push it around. at 300 and 400 pounds. I don't care if it is on wheels. Am I going to be able to move this thing? I don't think so. So that's something else you need to think about. And Miss Joy said, have you looked at or considered the 15 needle desktop pulling body? Have I looked at or considered the 15 needle desktop pulling? Um, no, I didn't know anything about the pulling. Um, and I'm assuming you are referring to this machine because this is the 15 needle pulling. I didn't know that the pulling even existed, 15 needle, until last week when I was looking up the price of the flatbed and ran across this on Amazon. And my understanding is you have to purchase this through Amazon. So you know what that's going to be like. They're going to drop that thing at your door. Oh my goodness, they're going to drop it at your door. Not funny because I think Racoma does the same thing. I've heard people say that. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. Now somebody was on here last week that that has a red line, and they included the red line in the budget friendly arena, which I agree because I also read that the red line is going for like 6,300, and I think she mentioned that. And um, um, when Eve got her red line, they brought it in a truck. Now I don't know if she had people there waiting to help her, or this was the delivery people, but they were some. It was somebody there to help. Now, Ms. Joy said, no, they have another one that's desktop and it's 3,500. No, I'm not aware of that one. Now, this one is, okay, this one is a bigger machine because it's almost 5,000. Now, on this page, they do mention one that costs $3,600, but I don't see a picture of it. But it does mention um, one that is going for 3,999 or 3,609. So I'm assuming that's the one that you're talking about. And it's a 15 needle, so you don't get I guess you don't get a cart with it or something. I don't know. Like I said, I was not even aware that Pullen had a multi-needle machine until last week. I only knew about their flatbed. And I didn't realize that I know they had the 5, 6, and 7, but they even have a smaller one. I think they have one that's only like a 4x4 that I saw in doing my research. So I was a little surprised. But again, pullings, to my knowledge, you can only get it off of Amazon. So with that being said, who the heck helped you with that? You can't call up Amazon. So it has to be somebody that helps you. And I tell you the other thing that kind of was a surprise to me as I was doing my research and I went to the Pullen website and was that Pullen? Yeah, it was Pullen. It wasn't the multi-needle though. But anyway, what I was about to say, they had people on there that were giving testimonies, and one of the names that they had listed for a testimony was Angel B Design, which I had mentioned to you guys last week about her having the pulling 7. Now I didn't know until I looked at another video that she actually started off with the 6, I think. And I don't know if they sent her a machine or she whatever, but anyway, she was doing a demo or something with the 7, the pulling what is it, ECO7 or EOC, whatever it is, 7. So that's interesting. Oh, so you said I did not know that. I knew that the pulling was rich work. I didn't know the buy was BAI. I did not know that the buy. That's interesting. That's the first I've heard that. That's the first I've heard that. I did not know the buy was rich rich worth. I did know pulling was. No, take that back. Take that back. I did know that. I did know that. Because now I'm thinking, um, all things Sean, she does talk about rich worth a lot. And she has their thread and all of their supplies and stuff. So yeah, okay, I did know that. They are in conjunction with each other some kind of way. So you're right. Now that you mention it, I did know that. So yeah, okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. Tu- 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 tu. So unbiased, so that's why the thread bundle they send with the buy is all rich worth thread. Right, exactly. You are absolutely correct. Thank you for correcting me because I had a lapse in memory, but now that you mention it and I'm thinking back, you are correct because like I said, I know for a fact that's what Sean is using a lot of. She talks about rich worth stuff, rich world a word. It's rich word things a lot. So yes. Yep, yep, yep. And so Sean, the other Sean, said yes, Rich Word does own both, and you are an affiliate of Rich Word. Okay, great. So question to you, Sean. And this is Gold Savvy, designed by Sean. In case any of you all are not familiar with her, she has her own channel, so tune into her. Any of you all that are not familiar with her, I just wanted to introduce her. She comes on and visit me quite a bit, and so she does wonderful work on her channel, all kinds of stuff, and she makes bread. But anyway, so are you affiliated with them for all of their products or just their threads and stabilizers and stuff? Just curious. Just curious. Mm. And Miss Joy, you said desktop are commercial 15 needle machines or 15 needles, and you're planning on getting the $3,600 one. Okay. Well, do let us know how that works for you. Yeah, do let us know. I hope all of that works well. I don't know if unbiased says that Sean is the bread lady. And yes, it did look good. It did look good. I tell you, I was sitting up there waiting on the butter. And Joy, she says she has her own thread bundle through Glide Threads. Okay. Yeah. I had a bread machine years and years and years and years ago. I don't even know whatever happened to that bread machine. My son bought it for a Christmas gift or some kind of gift. I think I used it 2 or 3 times. But I have to tell you, that was 30 years ago. Trust and believe me, it was a long, long time ago. But I have to tell you, watching you and I think Miss Linda doing your bread and stuff like that has definitely tempted me. Like maybe I need to get me another bread machine because that's the only way I'm gonna bake the bread. But that definitely sounds very tempting to be able to go back to making your own bread. Because, like I said, I did have a bread machine many, many years ago, and I did enjoy that. So that's kind of a neat little thing. Um, and Sean says, just the threads and stabilizer. Now I am leaving and have partnered with Glide. Okay. Well, you go, girl. You go, girl. Well, I haven't put none of my stuff up, so that's me being lazy. But I'm also an affiliate with All Day Shirts, which is what my shirts are. My t-shirts, my hoodies, my sweatshirts. I get them all from All Day Shirts. I do have a uh, link, but I gotta get all that stuff up so you guys can take advantage of that. But yes, I utilize All Day Shirts, and I am one of their affiliates. Yay for that! So at least, Sean, you know you have people, which I already knew because Miss Joy, I see you on there as well. On there, and Sean, you say you remember when you one. I told you I was working on the shirt and everything. Why the one that I was working on when I told you I was working on my shirt when I was cooking dinner and all that kind of stuff, and we were talking, and I said what I had been doing is the other shirt that I wore last week. And this is the other half of it because you know you cut it in half and you got two shirts, so you got to do something with it. So the other one says, I am Black History. And this one says, Black 365. And of course, this is the last Tuesday in February, and this is Black History Month. So I wanted to wear and represent Black history. And I'm not done with the shirt because I'm going to put something down both sleeves, but it's going to be a little different. You guys will get a chance to see it eventually. What I'm going to do with the sleeves and stuff, but I will be adding something to the sleeve. Um, and Miss Joyce said, I don't see the link for the shirts in your description. You're correct. I don't have it there. I mentioned I have, I just got it and I haven't put it up. That's my bad. And I'm going to have to get that done because that ain't cool. And I will definitely get that done. I actually wasn't going to say anything about it until I got it up, but I'm going to get it up. So you guys can take advantage of that. You know, if you're looking for shirts and stuff, and I've been totally satisfied. I've been using them for several years, so I'm totally satisfied with their product and stuff. Uh, That's true. Can't order if we don't have it. You are absolutely correct. Like I said, that's my bad. That's what I should have been doing. And Carol, you said we used our bread machine a lot in the 90s. Uh, it is still in storage. May need to break it out again. That's when I had mine in the 90s. I got mine in the 90s. And I don't know where mine is. I can't break it out of storage because I don't move so much. I don't even know if I still have it. So I may be forced to get another one. And who is this? Unbiased. That's awesome, Queen. I have never used all day shirts, but I will try them with your link. As soon as I'm gonna have to get this up. And I apologize to all of you guys. That's my bad. So I have to get that up and get it out and everything. And so you guys can take advantage of it. You know, I'm not I'm Sean, she does, if I'm correct, she works with software and tech and all that kind of stuff. So it's easy for you younger people to do all this tech stuff. It's not that cool for me. I'm not trained at all. I didn't go to school. I didn't do any of that kind of stuff to learn how to work on a computer and stuff. I'm self-taught, and I used to was very savvy, but when they came out with Windows 10, that just kind of took it down a little bit because I didn't understand it as well. And again, I'm self-taught. And the people that I used to go to get all of my information, they stopped doing it. Because back in the day, you used to go to Circuit City or Best Buy or Egghead and some of these other computer places and talk to these young people that were going to school for computers and ask them questions. And I would go in there and tell them what I wanted to do and everything. And they would give me the codes. They would tell me what to do, and I would go back home and I go into DOS and I and fool around and all of that kind of stuff. And I don't have that kind of support anymore. So now I got to scratch my head and figure it out myself. And that's not that easy. And now they have all of these um, stuff, just stuff, all of these social media and stuff like that. And it just gets to be a little bit overwhelming. Now, I'm not saying I can't do it. It's just not as easy as it doesn't come to me as easy as it used to. And also on top of that, I don't have anybody to ask, how do you do this? How do you do that? Because that's all I need. I just need somebody to tell me how to do it, show me how to do it, then I can move forward on my own. I feel pretty confident with that. So this stuff just gets to be, it bogs me down. Plus, I went back to work, so that takes away some of my time to fool around and tinker. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to have to do better, and I will, and I will. So, and Sean, you say you love both. Thank you. I do appreciate that. We can be your accountability partners to get it added. Okay, thank you. Okay, it's time. First time watching. Hello, hi, Linda's trending threads. And what else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Everybody's saying hi to Linda. Thank you for stopping by and watching. But you know, Linda, this is usually the time that I shut down. I normally do it for 2 hours from 7 to 9 my time, which is 8 to 10. The people on the East Coast where I used to be. And then, of course, you know, the further west you go, the earlier it is. But I'm in Central Time now. And I know I gotta go to work in the morning. So I usually do my 2 hours and shut down because first of all, I have to get myself ready for bed. And second of all, I don't like to bore people and keep them up forever and ever. There are times, and there have been times, where we've chit chatted and talked for almost 3 hours, and then I say, "Oh my goodness, we've been on here forever." If the conversation gets to be hot and heavy, and we're talking a whole lot of stuff, and you know, sharing information and stuff, which is what I love. But I'm going to shut it down. Now, I do need you guys to give me a thumbs up, please. And the other thing that I have to say, last week video seemed to have worked perfectly. I looked at the replay, didn't see any issues. This particular one, I am not seeing any issues on my end. I never really know how it is looking at when it plays back until I look at it, and that's when I find out there's issues. So I'm hoping that I have resolved my problem that I had. You know, I went to another computer. I switched my internet service. I'm using a different camera and I'm using a different platform. So I did everything that I thought I could do to get a better feed, and it seems to be working. I'm hoping that it is. So I am hoping that this is the resolution to the issue that I was having, because I have to tell you, it was driving me crazy. I was so disappointed and so upset because I tell you, if I don't want to look at it, I know y'all don't want to look at it. And I want to be able to not only, I mean, you guys can hear it and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of people just listen and don't watch because they're driving or they're doing this, that, and the other. That's fine. But those of us that are watching, we want to be able to enjoy what we're looking at. If it ain't nothing but me, talking to you. We want to be able to enjoy it. I know when I look at other people, I want to enjoy what I'm looking at. And all of the other stuff that goes on definitely is not enjoyable. So, with that being said, I'm hoping that the videos going forward are going to be clear, no lagging, no uh, all of the craziness that it was doing. So, I'm thinking it's going to be much better. So, and Robinson, thank you, Shirley. Video was perfect tonight. And video has been flawless today, Carol says. And Sean said no issue this week. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and shut down. Linda, look at the replay. Appreciate it. Come back next time. I go on at 8 o'clock Central Time. You must be in California. Uh, Miss Joy, you must be in California. You said it's only 7 p.m. there. Um, but anyway, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please do. Hit the notification bell so you'll know when I'm on. And I'm going to get myself back together to start getting these tutorials and demos up again like I had. And so I can show you some of the stuff that I've been doing as well. So you guys take care. And those of you that are part of the social crew, I will see you guys tomorrow night. And Linda, you say you are in Kentucky. So that should be should that be that's not central. So it's Eastern, I think. I think it's Eastern. But anyway, thank you for stopping by. I'm going to say good night to everybody. You guys take care. You're wonderful. Love you all. See you next week. Have a wonderfully blessed rest of the week.